I want to start by saying that this is not some type of get rich quick scheme. It's not some type of drop shipping class. It's not some kind of hack. Very simple and straightforward. It's like diet and exercise. There are traditional things that have always worked that I see people are just trying to skip over. Now, through this course, I'm going to show you a lot of things that are basically not taught in schools because this is just through experience. And a lot of these lessons and ideas are usually things we don't really share because of creating competition. I will never make a video on which items are hot and what's trending and what you should buy and what you should look into. Rather, I will show you guys how to fish. Exactly, specifically, how to find your unique item to sell. So, with that said, let's first talk about what the marketplace is. A marketplace, obviously, is just where there's a lot of people doing trade. People are selling stuff. And when you first see it, you're going to see a lot of people participating, and there's going to be a lot of major players. And from where you stand right now, it looks like a huge wall. And you have to find a way to slip through the cracks so that you can join in on the action. Now, in order to do this, you're going to need to do three things. One, to start off, is to find what I call your unicorn item. It sounds funny, but that's exactly what it is. It's something very unique to you. Then you have to know the market and then know your costs. And this is just the beginning of the things that you need to do. How to find your unicorn item that is personal to you. Your unicorn item is just going to be a plain old horse, maybe even a donkey to other people. But to you, it is a well-researched item. See, people are not one-dimensional. In some ways, somehow, you have been exposed to more than one thing in your life. Whether it was a hobby or a passion or a previous job, or you just grew up around this, right? Like you grew up on a ranch, so you understand cowboy, so you just know certain things that other people don't. You got to find that within yourself and then gravitate towards that market. What is a market exactly? A market is really just the category. So if there is a particular topic that you're very interested in, or whether you like it or not, you grew up with it, so you just know it, then use that. Use that as your competitive advantage. The unicorn item, once you acquire it, it's going to be something that only you can earn with. But if somebody else looks over your shoulder and tries to copy your test paper, it's not going to work out very well for them. Over the years, my father had employees who attempted this, try to open a competition business. They quit and then they tried to open up a similar business to compete against my father. And it didn't end up well for them because, granted, they worked for us for a couple of years. They don't know everything. They didn't know enough. They thought they did. And that's exactly what the problem is. I personally myself had two employees. One was with me for a few years. One just worked over a summer. And they tried to do the same thing. They figured, oh, I see what he does. He just gets this item and I think it's hot and then he just puts it on eBay. So I'm going to do the same thing. I chose not to be upset at the kid who just worked for us for over a summer and ended up, trying to bring in a similar item, like a dupe item, and then selling it on eBay and being a direct competitor to us. Totally forgave him, totally let him know that it was cool. I understood. And I was genuinely curious of what happened because I wanted to know where he ended up. What ended up happening was that he ended up with boxes and boxes of merchandise stacked in his bedroom. And he stuck with it because he spent his savings on it. He can't throw it away, but he can't flip it either. It's just completely stuck with it. So it's very important that you do a lot of homework, a lot of research to understand exactly what item that you should be doing, because then you'll be able to see the demand that's out there. You don't need ever to research what item is hot, what's trending, should I do this, should I do that? That's just somebody blind shooting in the dark, trying to figure out what's the best item. Hey, what should I do? You shouldn't be asking people what you should do. You should know what you should do. But how do we get there? Well, first, it's very simple. You have to qualify. So this course is going to show you exactly the things you need to do and how to go about it, the questions you need to ask yourself in order to qualify. And then you will be on the right track to doing business properly. And doing business properly, I'm talking about a scalable business and not a business that's going to take up all of your time. As you get more successful, you should have more free time should you choose to invest that time into more business. But no matter what you do, the business model itself is not supposed to drown you in hard work. Hard work is important, but it's not supposed to overwhelm you, especially if you have the proper knowledge and the keys to do things right. So, again, as I said, people are not one-dimensional. Everybody has life experiences. You have to sit down and clear your mind and think about topics, subjects, things that were hobbies, things you were exposed to, things that are your passion, are things that you could gravitate to, or things that you can develop your competitive advantage. So once you have this item, you already know it's going to sell because it's well researched by you. You know it's going to work. It is well calculated by you. The next thing to understand is, as I said, the market. So the marketplace is real simple. You're not going to find your unique item in a market that you don't understand. So go to a topic, a category, a market that you understand. Then from here, move on to the subcategory so that you could start getting closer and closer to the item that you really want to do. Once you start to find interest in this, you'll understand how to research it so that you will know exactly what demand is actually still out there, what money is actually still being left on the table. And then don't share that with anybody. Bet on it, do it. And that's exactly how you're going to begin to make your first fortune. When you learn how to do business properly this way, you will know exactly how to slip through the cracks and get into the marketplace and get a good position in there. From here, you will know exactly how to avoid price wars. You will know exactly how to be different, how to offer alternative things in order to remain competitive, remain in the market, still maintaining a market share, still maintaining your income stream. So if there's one takeaway from this message of this course, is to find your unicorn item and don't ride somebody else's donkey, because that is going to drown you. So let's cover knowing your cost and what that means. Not everything is lucrative. There are dead items out there. Sometimes it's because the category is dead, like cordless phones. Everybody's got a cell phone now. Who the hell's still on a cordless phone, right? Knowing what your cost is consists of many things. It's more than just knowing how much you bought it for and then sticking it into an eBay fee calculator. There's a lot more to knowing than that. First, you must know exactly specifically what your inland cost is, meaning how much your landing cost is, meaning how much it costs you to get that item sitting in your warehouse right now. If you have space in a basement or a garage, then that's great because your home is already your home. You're already paying for rent, whatever space that you can get. But if you have a warehouse or a storage locker, now that eats into your cost, especially if you don't flip the item in a time that you intended to. Now, the items that are sitting there in your storage locker or warehouse is actually more expensive than they should have been because you're not turning them over. And usually, if this happens, it just means that you didn't research this item well enough, or there was a significant shift in the market and you didn't see it coming. This will have a lot to do with specifically what your unicorn item is. So knowing your inland cost will be a lot of things, taxes and duties, as well as when you ship the item, what your outbound cost is going to be. And then realize that all of the sales that you made are still pre-tax dollars, and then set aside a budget for tax season because a 1099 is not a W-2. The purpose of this class is to put you in the right mindset so you have the correct attitude moving forward. From here, we will be reviewing case studies to help you develop skills so that you could be on the right path to success.